On today's episode of me possibly flooding the shop for your entertainment, we're going to be working on this. This is a 29-inch tall, 23-inch in diameter cylinder tank that is secondhand to me. It required a little bit of work to get it up and running, but I have tested it now and it is holding water. I'll show you kind of the inner workings of what I had to build here in just a second. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a white cloud minnow Vallisneria tank. I wanted this to be as sleek and simple as possible, so I don't want any heater cords or any airline hoses or anything like that coming out of it. So I wanted it to be as sleek and simple as possible, and I think we're going to achieve that today. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this top off because we're not going to need it for now, and I'll be able to show you guys what I built down below. So I'm using an Aquarium Co-op sponge filter with a lot of extensions on it. And if I can get this to come off, I'll show you what I did here. So this is just a bulkhead with some PVC fittings. I found the right size to fit inside the basket of the Aquarium Co-op filter. And right down there is an air stone that I just used a lot of super glue and baking soda to kind of secure that in place. I didn't want to just leave the pipe open because the filter was going to do a lot of glugging if I did. So I'm hoping with the air stone I can get some nice small air bubbles and have this thing drive properly. Here's a little bit better angle. You can see where that air stone is in that pipe. I should be able to just stick this filter back down on top and kind of give it a good little push. One of the reasons I've been hesitant to do this build is because, well, I can't reach the bottom. So down at the bottom, I want to have a pretty good pile of substrate, and I'm going to start with some bottle rocks. I think these are going to bulk out the bottom pretty good, and then I'm going to put a layer of black diamond blasting sand over top of that. How do I get these in there though? I have an idea. Because I don't want to just drop rocks from the very top of this thing down into the bottom of it, I'm going to fill up this grocery sack. I'm going to set it down inside there with the rocks and hopefully not break this thing. That's gonna be much faster. Now, before we get too much further into this, I wanted to show you the connections that I've made down here underneath. See if we can get some light in here. There we go. You can see the PVC comes out of the bulkhead down through the stand. We go into this little elbow here, and I've had to use some brass fittings in order to get up to my air line. And then of course we have a check valve here. This is going to be all connected up to shop air, so we should have plenty of pressure. Because it's such a tall tank, I've got to get a little bit creative with tools and stuff so that I can actually reach the bottom. I want to try and get as much of these rocks piled up in the middle as I can because I want kind of a mountain. So now that the rocks are all in place, next up is black diamond blasting sand. If you haven't ever used this stuff before, you've got to rinse it and then rinse it and then rinse it and then rinse it. I've already gone to the trouble of preparing one bag full clean, and I really hope that it's enough to do what I want to do with it because this stuff is not fun to clean. So one of the reasons why black diamond blasting sand is so popular in the aquarium hobby is that it's super cheap. It says that it's black coal blasting slag. That's probably why it's so dirty whenever you get it, but it's inert, and so we don't have to really worry about it. We're not doing anything that's going to be a bottom feeder like a Corydora, because it is kind of an abrasive. I mean, that's what it's for, right? It's for blasting things like pipes and stuff like that. What can happen whenever you've got like a Corydora or something that's going to be digging around in it is that it can actually cut them. And so we don't want to use it in applications when we're going to have a lot of bottom feeders, but for the white cloud minnows that we're going to be putting in here, it's going to be just fine. So I am pleased to say that it looks like one bag of black diamond blasting sand is going to be plenty. I just wanted enough in there that the roots can take hold and that we could hide that pipe, because I don't really want to see any equipment in this. And hopefully by using the Vallisneria in here, we can kind of hide the rest of this filter, like the big tube and all that. I just want it to look really sleek. So right now I'm just trying to even it all out so it's a little bit more uniform throughout. It's going to make planting a little bit easier. And then I think we're going to add a little bit of water after this. I'm just going to kind of use this to kind of get this sand all to settle down in between the cracks on this rock, and hopefully it still looks like it's enough. We don't want it to add any more. So while that's filling, I think I'm gonna go ahead and start harvesting the Vallisneria. Now I've got two types in here. This is the Vallisneria gigantea, which is gonna be the main body of what we've got going on in here. That's gonna go around the center. And then right here, we've got a little bit of leopard Vallisneria, and that's gonna be a smaller plant. It's gonna go around the edges of the tank. All right, so it's actually been a couple of days and this thing is cleared up nicely. We're gonna get to work on getting this Vallisneria in this tank. I'm gonna go ahead and separate these ones as I go. Hopefully this works. I don't really like these tweezers, but we're gonna make do with what we've got. So because this tank is round, whenever I've got the water in there, it does this really interesting lensing effect, and I can hopefully from this angle show you what I'm dealing with as far as seeing what's going on. When it's up close, it looks normal size, but as you move it further away, it gets bigger and distorted. So planting it is kind of tricky, just being able to see what I'm actually doing here. I'm not too worried about the roots sticking out of the substrate because they'll kind of find their way down in there. Vallisneria, it being one of these that spreads via runners, it's actually quite good at figuring out where it needs to go. So what it starts out as just this one plant, and then as it grows, it sends out this little runner here, and you get another plant, and another plant, and another plant, and another plant. And that just keeps going until the whole tank is full. So I'm gonna separate these and they'll just keep doing that over and over and over again. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and add some giant hairgrass in here just because I'm a glutton for punishment, and I think the textural changes will look cool. It's another one of those rock wool situations. You gotta pull it apart, get the little plants out. Boop. All right, so now that this is pretty much all planted, I'm gonna just clean it up a little bit, then we're gonna get some fish in here. So these are my proposed inhabitants. They are super tiny. These white cloud minnows spawned about 4 weeks ago, and the babies are, I don't know, maybe about a quarter to a half an inch. I'm gonna see how many of them I can catch, and we'll put them in the big tank. going to be using a very fine mesh net for this operation. All right, so I ended up catching 34 of these. I want to do the release on camera, but I only get one shot at this. So let's hope this works. Just get this topped up. And I think we're gonna get rid of this shop light. Switch it out for this aquarium co-op plant LED. All right, now we can put the canopy on. Drop the light inside the tank. Good testament to the waterproof. And we are done. So over the course of the next couple of weeks, this is gonna grow in real thick and lush. And I think it's gonna achieve the goals that we had for today. If you like this sort of stuff, make sure you subscribe. Hit that like button if you like this build in particular, and we'll see you on the next one.